Excuse me. Would you mind terribly putting me back where you found me? While we're waiting, let me introduce myself. Yorick is the name. I live here at the castle with 3 of the most terrifying monsters of all time. Frank, a wretched creation of hearts unearthed from the dankest depths of the graveyard. Drac, a dashing, bloodthirsty tyrant from Romania, a creature of the night. And Wolf, once an ordinary man, now cursed by the full moon and transformed into a hideous, tormented beast. Terror filled the countryside, and my master's fearsome reputation spread. They became an inspiration to monsters everywhere, and life at the top was just one big party.
Well, I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. He did the monster mash from my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. And the ghouls all came from their humble abode to get their jokes from my electrode. They did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They did the monster mash.
My masters once struck terror into any mortal heart. But somehow, over the years, things changed. People began to associate my masters with fun rather than horror.
The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sound. Igor on chains backed by his baying hound. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Clip Kicker 5. They played the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash.
When my masters began to show that they had hearts, people were no longer frightened, and this led them down a strange new path.
They played the monster mash. Out from his coffin, Drac's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said,
Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?
it's now the monster mash.
Without the ability to scare, my masters had no choice but to become entertainers. After all, one has to keep the castle fires burning. But it was a far cry from their former glory.
So when is our next gig?
5 p.m. at Cower Records at the mall.
That's certainly something to live for.
That's where our story starts. It is the strangest horror story you've ever heard. You will be frightened to the bone.
And now it's time for Foolish Monster Tricks.
insult to monsters everywhere.
Chicky wanna change channel?
We'll have them thrown out of the Ghoul Guild. Notify the tribunal. We'll show them how to mash monsters.
You are hereby summoned to the Superior Court of Horror for a violation of Section 435, subparagraph B.
Failure to stare. But I love to stare.
No, that's failure to scare, plasma breath.
Ooh.
There. At least one of us is frightening.
No, one of you has a truly frightening stench coming from his armpits. Now then, you have the right to remain...
Remains? Yum, yum.
That's the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be held against you. In fact, we will hold all sorts of gross things against you.
My master's court date was scheduled for just before Halloween.
All rise. His ogre is about to enter.
Let us begin the trial of these three pathetic losers. We have selected a very qualified jury.
They don't seem very lively.
Maybe not, but with them we won't have to break for lunch. Order! You are charged with the most serious offense.
But you're ogre. We were once the scariest monsters around.
I was even the first Ghoul Guild president.
Yes, that was a different era. There is now a more effective generation of fiends. The prosecution may enter.
Oh, man. That 2,000-year-old used bandage is our lawyer.
He got millions for Mr. Hyde when he sued Dr. Jekyll for malpractice.
Objection, your ogre!
Overruled!
The prosecution calls Dr. Decay.
Whatever it is, it'll have to come out.
Dr. Decay, is it true that the so-called king of the vampires now wears false fangs?
That is correct. His gums are kaput. For centuries I've told Drac he should floss after every mutilation. Did he listen? No!
Thank you. Prosecution calls Dr. Fred Grogane, noted hair loss specialist. Dr. Grogane, what can you tell us about the defendant known as Wolf?
The subject has 11 bald spots, ranging in size from 3 to 18 centimeters.
There's only 10.
Soon, the only hair on his body will be 5 o'clock shadow.
And now, Your Honor, the prosecution presents its final exhibit. I will demonstrate demonstrate conclusively that the accused are no longer fit to be called monsters.
I'll handle this.
It's up to you, Frank.
The prosecution rests.
Your Ogre, the defense intends to show that...
Sorry, we're out of time. I have an audition for the Harlem Head Criminals.
Objection!
Overruled.
No fair! No fair!
Silence, Gosmont! Members of the jury, have you reached a verdict? You are deadlocked? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a hung jury. In that case, I hereby release you three decrepit ghouls. On one condition. You must succeed in terrorizing a typical family. If you fail, you will be sentenced to an eternity of working children's birthday parties. You have until tomorrow, Halloween night, when the sands run out at the stroke of 12.
Which typical family does your ogre have in mind?
Here's one. The Tinklemeisters.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Stella. Hi, Spike. You're tracking in mud. There. Much better. Mud has germs, you know.
You said it, Spike. I'm starving. Hey. Delicious, Mom. A new appetizer?
Oh, dear. I think you may have eaten Spike's latest science experiment. Spike, how many times have I told you to keep your wart mucus away from the dinner table? You'd better go brush your teeth, honey.
Sorry, guys. No time to do touch-ups now. Try me at the shop tomorrow.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, darling. Hard day?
Poodles. Nothing but poodles all day long.
You missed dinner again, Daddy.
You're overworking yourself, dear.
Can I help it if I'm the only one in the shop who can do a decent perm on a schnauzer?
I know, honey. They should pay you more.
Don't worry, dear. One day I'll have a shop of my own.
The finest grooming shop ever. People will bring their dogs from all over the state when they see what I can do.
That sounds great, Dad.